もうすぐ追いつかれちまうじゃないか。
Picking up the events from the previous installment, The Beginning After the End Episode 8 begins with Alice and Reynolds hardly being able to hold their tears as they see their son, Arthur Leywin, at the doorstep. They hug him tightly and welcome him in. Meanwhile, Eleanor doesn't know why her mother is crying. At this moment, Arthur recalls his past and realizes the girl must be his younger sister. He introduces himself to Eleanor. Likewise, Alice tells Eleanor that Arthur is her older brother. Following this, The Beginning. After the End Episode 8 focuses on a heartfelt reunion, as Alice and Reynolds ask Arthur about his health. Alice wonders if Arthur has been eating properly, considering he has become thin. Arthur assures her that he is fine. Meanwhile, Eleanor appears slightly jealous as Arthur gets all the attention from her parents. However, she slowly opens up to her brother when Alice reminds her about the stories she used to tell her before sleeping. Once everything settles down, Arthur recounts his experiences up to his arrival at Xyrus. Although he fully trusts his parents, Arthur leaves out the part about meeting Sylvia. Instead, he explains that he survived the fall by subconsciously using magic. At the same time, he tells them about Tess and his experiences at the Kingdom of Elenoir. Although it pains him to lie to his parents somewhat, Arthur thinks it might be dangerous to tell them everything until he becomes stronger. As for Sylvie, Arthur Leywin says he found her on the way inside a Mana Beast's cave. Arthur adds that Sylvie's mother was dying and he couldn't save her. That's why he decided to take Sylvie in. Following this, Arthur asks Reynolds about his current job. According to The Beginning After the End Episode 8, Reynolds works as the security instructor at the Helsty auction house. Arthur also reveals that his Manicore has reached the dark orange stage. As per the episode, Manicore has 6 stages: black, red, orange, yellow, silver, and white. Each color also has, from the lowest to the highest, dark, solid, and light stages. Meanwhile, Reynolds is wowed to learn that Arthur has reached the light red stage. He thinks he's very close to being overtaken. At this moment in The Beginning After the End Episode 8, Vincent Helstia arrives at the scene with his family. Reynolds introduces Vincent to Arthur as the owner of the auction house and his employer. The narrative for The Beginning After the End Episode 8 then shifts the focus to Vincent Helstia, who is glad to see Arthur. He introduces his wife, Tabitha, and their daughter, Lilia, to him. Lilia is immediately drawn to Sylvie. Meanwhile, Reynolds tells Vincent that he's about to have a sparring contest with his son in the garden. Vincent is slightly intrigued, so he stops by to see the fight. He is also surprised to learn that Arthur's Manicore is light red. On the other hand, Arthur feels he shouldn't have told everyone about his Manicore's stage. The sparring contest between Arthur and Reynolds begins with normal hand-to-hand combat. Reynolds thinks Arthur has a long way to go as the fight progresses. Following this, in The Beginning After the End Episode 8, Reynolds showcases his magic. Arthur notes that mages in the world are pre-equipped with compatible elements. Conjurers can identify and manipulate the compatible elements. On the other hand, augmenters can identify their compatible elements only after reaching a certain milestone. Arthur realizes that his father, Reynolds, has truly tapped into his actual potential. Therefore, he wants to show his own growth. The Beginning After the End Episode 8 showcases Arthur Leywin, showcasing his exceptional skills over the fire element. Reynolds can't believe that his son can tap into the high fire magic. What's more, Arthur Leywin demonstrates another move to leave his father, Vincent, and others flabbergasted. Aside from fire, the boy manipulates water. Reynolds is perplexed by the fact that his son can wield dual magic. Arthur says he can still barely control his water magic. Following this in The Beginning After the End Episode 8, Vincent Helsty and his family join Arthur and his parents for dinner. Seeing Arthur's potential, Vincent proposes that the boy should be sent to the Xyrus Academy. He assures Alice and Reynolds that they don't need to think about the tuition fees. Alice is grateful to the Helsty family for not only allowing them a house to live in, but also managing Arthur's tuition. Yet, Reynolds realizes that Arthur is still too young to join the academy. However, Vincent assures him that he doesn't have to worry, because he has a decent connection with Xyrus Academy's director. Following this, The Beginning After the End Episode 8 shows a moment between Arthur and Lilia. Arthur figures out that Lilia doesn't have many people her age to talk to. That's why she is happy to make an acquaintance with Arthur. Meanwhile, in the evening, the twin Horn members appear at the Hellstale house. Adam, Angela, Durden, Helen, and Jasmine are ecstatic to see Arthur doing well. More than anyone, Jasmine is relieved that Arthur is fine. She hugs him tightly, which moves the other Twin Horn party members to tears. As the Twin Horn members discuss their adventures, Arthur Leywin realizes something. He still knows nothing about the kingdom of Sapen. He speculates that being an adventurer is a good way to start learning about the kingdom. However, that would mean he has to leave his parents yet again. The beginning, after the end episode 8, ends with Lilia looking worried about something.